Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hopefully, you all are having a good day. Hopefully, you guys had a good Monday. And yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, NFL news is coming out like crazy with these coaching searches. We've got playoffs. Guru, good morning. We've got playoffs this week. Did a lot of research on those games yesterday, so we can talk about that. We've got college football playoffs as well on Thursday and Friday. We also have NBA tonight, and I do have some NBA spots that I like for betting. There's actually like a decent slate tonight. Usually on Tuesdays we get just a couple games, but there's like 6 or 7 games tonight, so there's some pretty decent spots here. And Boston against Denver too in the night game there. Pretty good game in Denver. So yeah, a lot to talk about today. If you guys have questions about anything, go ahead, drop that in the chat. We'll start with like the coaching searches. The Bears trolling with Mike McCarthy. Yeah, so I don't even know, like, I don't know what that is, the whole Mike McCarthy thing. And then the Jets just like the Jets have requested like anyone you could request. I don't really know what the Jets are doing either. The Bears probably trolling, I would say. But then again, some of these like bad teams, I would say they're trolling, but then again, like the moves that we've seen these teams make for the last 5 years, for the last 10 years. Well, for the Bears, I guess it's like the last like 25 years, but you know what I mean. What they've done recently tells me maybe they're not trolling. I don't know. For some reason, people like we just talked about this. Like in the year 2025, why would you want Rex Ryan to be your coach? Why would you want Mike McCarthy to be your coach? Like, I truly don't understand it. You know, like back if in like the early 2000s and stuff, it was just so much. It was so much different. First of all, the game was football was played differently back then, and everything was different. So you know, getting just rehashing these guys that had been coaches over and over and over again. I don't think it was a good move back then, but I at least understand why teams did it back then. The game was like so much different. Nowadays, it's a completely different game. Like the game of football is so much different now than it was when Mike McCarthy first got a head coaching job or when Rex Ryan was even a head coach the last time in the NFL. So I don't understand what the thought process is if you're running a team, why you would want those guys in charge. And it's nothing against those guys like personally. I mean, you guys know if you've watched, my content, I've never really thought Mike McCarthy was a very good coach, but it's nothing against him. I don't understand why these teams would want guys like that to coach them. But that's where we are. If the Jets actually hire Rex Ryan, that would be like the funniest thing ever. And I'm sure like Jet fans would try and like they would pass this off. They would try and act like it's like some great, like genius hiring. So I actually like I can't tell if that's like they just did it because it's Rex Ryan, like I can't tell. If they're seriously considering making that guy their head coach, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to sit here and act like I would be a good NFL coach or anything, but I mean, I can analyze the sport and I can analyze what I see, and I fail to I fail to understand that. But that's why bad teams are bad, and they've been bad for my entire lifetime watching sports. As far as like other spots go, though, I think it's fairly certain that I think Ben Johnson is getting a head coaching job, unless somehow like the Lions, I don't know how they could convince him to stay. When you're going to be an NFL coach, like you need to strike while the iron is hot. We talked about this yesterday with Bobby Slowick, right? last year, the Texans and CJ Stroud, they took the league by storm, you know? Bobby Slowick, I don't remember. I'm sure he interviewed. I don't think he got offered a job or anything, but like he really needed to capitalize on getting that job last year because he got completely exposed this year. Like the guy is just not good. So even though the Jets asked to interview him, I don't really see Bobby Slowick getting a head coaching job. And I'm not saying that's gonna happen to Ben Johnson because we have a multiple year sample size of Ben Johnson being as good as you can be as an offensive coordinator. So I'm sure when he wants to make the move, he'll be able to. But if I were him, I would strike while the iron is hot. I mean, all of these, like, there's going to be different jobs available every year. But if you see a situation that's good for you, I would take it. So I think it's fairly certain Ben Johnson will be a head coach next year. That will occupy one of the 5 openings. I think 5 or 6. I think there's 5. I think Mike Vrabel will also be a head coach next year. So where he's going to go, I don't know, whether it be Chicago, whether it be New England. I have no idea. But I think personally, right now, if I were picking, Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel will be head coaches for 2 of those teams. Who the other teams hire, I don't know. And where those guys go, I don't know. But I'm fairly certain those 2 will get hired. Playoff team head coach on the hot seat. Harbaugh, no. D'Amico Ryans, no. Harbaugh, no. The other Harbaugh, no. I'll say no for Mike Tomlin, but if there's one, it's probably him. I don't really think he's on the hot seat, but if anyone kind of gets talked about in that light, it's him. That was this Saturday game. Sunday, what do we have? I guess like maybe if the Eagles just got completely embarrassed, Peyton, no. I don't think McDermott's on the hot seat. I don't think LaFleur's on the hot seat. If the Eagles got completely embarrassed at home by the Packers, Sirianni, I could see him getting fired. So I don't think they're on the hot seat, but I could see Sirianni get fired if they got absolutely destroyed by the Packers. Dan Quinn, no. I don't really think Tampa is going to make a coaching change. And then Minnesota, no. McVay is going to coach the Rams until whenever he retires. So I guess if there's anyone, it's Sirianni. I saw that Jay Glazer report that teams will try to trade for Kevin O'Connell. Thought that was pretty funny. That I don't think he would ever get traded. I think that was just kind of like, talk. We saw that years ago, like after Kyle Shanahan's first couple good years as a head coach of the Niners, teams tried to trade for him. I don't really think it would happen. Now, the Broncos did trade for Sean Payton, but that was kind of a different situation, I feel. Like Kevin O'Connell's a young head coach. I don't see the Vikings looking really to make a move there. But I guess we'll see. That would be funny. I wish he would get traded. I like interesting storylines like that. That would be fun. And I don't know who's gonna hire a coach first, because if I were picking someone, I would say Ben Johnson would be the most likely to get hired first, but he's gonna be dealing with this, playoff run. So that kind of takes him out of getting hired first. I would assume somebody hires a coach before kind of like if they're out on the Ben Johnson kind of sweepstakes, I would assume that team will hire a coach in the coming weeks. We have a good amount of time until the Super Bowl. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. For now, I'm just going to hope that the Jets hire Rex Ryan for the just absolute content that we will have next football season. I mean, can you just imagine playing like, I mean, when did Rex Ryan coach last? Let's see here. He coached 2015 to 2016. And then he was with the Jets from 2009 to 2014, and then the Bills 2015 to 2016. I was playing DFS in 2015, 2016. I don't think I was providing content though. So, like, I don't really remember what it was like. Could you imagine just playing DFS with Rex Ryan coaching a team? Like, what is that guy going to be doing? And like, assuming like they don't have Aaron Rodgers, like if he leaves, like what? I don't know. That could just be absolute. Jets fans thought they were going to win the Super Bowl this year, and it's just so quickly going to change from potentially winning the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers to the next year not having Aaron Rodgers and having Rex Ryan back as your coach. Like just completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Insane. Looking ahead at the games though, I still think I like majority favorites. Chargers, Ravens, Bills, Eagles. Like those 4 games, I'm fairly certain I like the favorites. The Sunday night game and the Monday night game, I think you could make a case. I still would lean Tampa, I think, over Washington. I've actually, after doing my like initial research yesterday, I've kind of swung towards taking the Rams over the Vikings. So that's like the one upset I really like in round one is Rams over Vikings. It's not a huge upset. It's a 1.5 point spread. So, really not going out on a limb there with that prediction, but I do like the Rams over the Vikings, I think. I still like I still like Philly. There's some it's minus 115 on the plus 4.5 for Green Bay, which I think is interesting. I would love for that to move. If we could get a 3.5, I would like that. I want to see. Let's see if I can look up the splits here early for these games. Let's see here. Yeah. So early splits, Chargers very public. No shocker there, just given how the Texans have looked. They opened at minus 148. They've moved to minus 162. 75% of the tickets are on the Chargers money line. 90% of the handles, so really big differential there. And then for the spread, 82% and then 90% of the money. So really public there for the Chargers. Not shocking. Ravens, very public, also not shocking. 56% of the spread tickets, 89% of the money line tickets. Really not surprised. Big money coming in on the under in that Ravens game, though. 47% of the tickets, but 71% of the money are on that under 44.5 in the Ravens Steelers game. I don't know. I would honestly probably prefer an under on the Steelers team total than an under on the full game, I think. The Steelers team total currently on FanDuel sits 16.5. I'd be fine. I mean, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. The Ravens defense, I feel like people aren't talking about this enough. The Ravens defense has been unbelievable. Basically the last like 2 months of the season. Early on in the season, that was a huge storyline was like the Ravens, their defense isn't good, their pass defense is very bad, all that stuff. And we've kind of come to be used to that. I guess in like recent seasons, the Ravens there was a couple years their secondary was just in shambles with injuries and they would get thrown all over. That has not been the case the last month and a half. They have a very, very good run defense, one of the best run defenses in all of football. And basically, since like their bye week around week 8, week 9, week 10, they have a top 3 or 4 pass defense in football in most metrics. Like their defense has been very good. So that's why I think that I haven't really seen enough people talking about them, I think, to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, don't forget that the Ravens were favored. They were at home, but the Ravens were favored over the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game 1 year ago. And I think their defense is better this year than it was then. Another year of Lamar Jackson, Lamar's having his best season. Crazy to me that he's won MVP twice and he's having his best season this year. And he's probably not going to win MVP. Like he's already won MVP twice. He's having his best year and he's probably not going to win MVP. That's how insane Josh Allen's been this year. But yeah, I think the Ravens are very equipped for a deep run in the playoffs. If we look at yards gained per rush attempt, Ravens number 1 in the NFL. They're giving up just 3.6 yards gained per attempt against the run. It's the best in the NFL. And if we look at, net yards gained per pass attempt, they're in the middle of the pack, right? They're like 20th. That's a significant improvement over, previous versions of this Ravens defense. If we go back to 2023, let me see where they were at. Around the same. So you go back to 2022. Yeah, so they were like in 2022, they were 13th, giving up 6.2 net yards gained per pass attempt. And then if we, come to this season, they're 20th and giving up it's down to like 6. So yeah, their defense is legitimately very good. Denver and Buffalo, again, no shocker. Buffalo very public here. 87% of the money line tickets, 64% of the spread tickets. No movement though. They opened at 8.5. It's still at 8.5. Packers, Eagles. Eagles very public. Again, not shocking. Public loves the favorites pretty much all NFL season, and that's been the case, looking at these games. And I think that just goes along with the public perception, of these teams as well. Philly very public. Interesting that Washington is more public than Tampa in this Sunday night game, though. Washington getting 56% of the money line tickets, 51% of the spread tickets. And then Vikings are overwhelmingly public in this Monday night game. Almost 70% of the spread tickets are coming in on the Vikings -1.5. Interesting. I'll probably be taking Rams money line in that Monday night game. And then I don't know. We'll see about Washington Tampa. I'll have to think more about that, I guess. Flowers update. Bills Chiefs Super Bowl or AFC Championship. Melissa would be good. I would love to get a rematch there. I think that this is the Bills' best chance, obviously, to beat them. I don't know though. It's still so hard for me to, go against Patrick Mahomes in a home playoff game. I just don't like the Bills will probably be favored in that game if I had to guess by like a point, and you're just gonna get huge discourse on Twitter. The Patrick Mahomes home underdog, Patrick Mahomes as an underdog, the betting splits of him as an underdog. Like, yeah, I don't know. It'll be a fun game though. I think Flowers. I don't have a full update, Guru. I don't know. I saw he said he would be. They were expecting him to play, but expecting him to play versus, him being 100% is a big deal to me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. The Ravens do need him 100% though, if they want to go to the Super Bowl. And to be honest, if there's any questions about his health, I would rest him against Pittsburgh or send him out, because they can get by Pittsburgh without Zay Flowers. And if they don't get by if they don't get by Pittsburgh because Zay Flowers didn't play, they were never going to win the Super Bowl anyways. They can get past the Steelers without Zay Flowers, get him healthy. They're going to need a healthy Zay Flowers for their next game. So I would just consider sitting him out of this game, to be quite honest with you. All right. We'll talk college more tomorrow or Thursday, because that's when the games are. So let me see what time. I think golf is in Hawaii again, I'm pretty sure. So we should be able to talk about that on Thursday like we did last week. Yeah. So, okay. So Thursday we'll talk golf, and Thursday we'll talk golf and college football. I do want to go over some NBA today, though. There's some picks I like for tonight. One of which it's very juicy, so I would be looking to parlay this with something. But I like Quentin Grimes over 2.5 assists. Very juicy. I'm seeing it's like -140, -150. It might have increased even since I looked at this morning, but maybe look to parlay that with something. He has gone over this number. I don't like to look at the historical stuff really, but he's gone consistently over this number over the last 4 to 5 games, and he has seen a role change with some of the Mavericks injuries. If we look at the season-long stats for the Dallas Mavericks, Quentin Grimes is averaging 3.1 potential assists per game. He's only averaging 3.1 potential assists per game for the season. But like I said, he's been crushing that number. He's hit it in 4 games in a row. So if we look at even the last, 5-game sample size, he's averaging 7.4 potential assists per game. So for the season, he's averaging 3.1. Over the last 5 games, when he's seen kind of this role change due to Dallas Mavericks, injury situations, that 3.1 jumps up to 7.4, and that coincides with him beating this number consistently. So it's very juicy. I'm not going to bet it as itself, but I do like Quentin Grimes over 2.5 assists tonight. If you can parlay that with something, I think that would be a good look. Another guy that's been very, very good recently and has had kind of a distinct, role change is Austin Reeves. He's been playing very good basketball as of late. If you look at some of like his potential assist numbers, they've been off the charts, as well. Over the last 4 to 5 games, he's seeing almost 15 potential assists per game. So his assist line is pretty high tonight, around 8.5. Don't know if I would bet that. You can get his points plus assist, 26.5, 27.5. In a good matchup against Dallas. So I like Austin Reeves tonight, buying into kind of that role change we've seen from him recently as well. So 2 guys in the same game. Maybe if you wanted to do, Quentin Grimes over 2.5 assists and then water down Reeves to like 6 assists, something like that. Let me see. Actually, let's see what that would pay. Let's see. I'll pull up FanDuel, Dallas, and the Mavericks. Assists. So we'll take. Okay, so FanDuel does not have Quentin Grimes assist up. No shocker there. But Reeves is -430 for 6+. So pairing that with like a -150 would probably be fine. But I like Reeves over his points and assist combination prop too. And FanDuel has a no sweat same game parlay for these games as well, because Lakers Mavericks are on TNT. So, maybe you could add a couple more legs in there and get, a no sweat bet going. I also like a parlay here in that Celtics Nuggets game tonight. I'm going to take Jokic 25 plus points, and I'm going to parlay that with Anthony Edwards 25 plus points. I'm shocked, but this pays like plus 120 on FanDuel. I'm assuming that moves down throughout the day, so I would put that in now. Just 25 plus point parlay, Anthony Edwards, Nikola Jokic. Edwards has been very, very aggressive, like since Christmas or New Year's, I'd say. So if you look at like some of the stuff for his season, like in the whole month of like December, he wasn't scoring very well. We see an 8, a 16, 23, 17, 19, 16, 14, 20, right? He's taken 12 shots, 16 shots, 19, 18, 14. And that just wasn't getting the job done for the Timberwolves, and that's not Anthony Edwards' game. Anthony Edwards needs to be aggressive. If we look at the last 2 games, Clippers, and they faced the Clippers in their last game. They faced the Pistons in their game prior. He comes out, he scores 53 and 37. He's taken 31 and 29 shots. That's more of what I want to see, from Anthony Edwards. So if he's going to be chucking up 28, 29 shots, I will gladly, take the over on his points prop, or like I said, 25 plus points, parlay that with something else. Pretty good look for me tonight. So that's some NBA stuff I like. And then, we'll keep talking NFL, college football throughout the week, and we'll have some golf talk on Thursday as well. Didn't hit any outrights this past week, unfortunately, but we did cash that Ludwig Aubert top 10 at plus 125. So that got us some money back. And I hit a good 3-ball parlay on the opening round. So finished around even for the tournament. Sungjae, he tried to get up there. It's just Hideki just ran away with it. Sungjae Im played great. He was right in the mix. Taylor Pendrith got in the mix as well. So, we had some guys in the mix on Sunday, but Hideki just ended up running away with it. No outright swept, but Aubert did clutch that top 10 for us. So, we'll have a betting card up for the Sony on Thursday. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck with your bets today. I will be live tomorrow at 11. We'll talk some more NFL. Hopefully, we get some more coaching storylines and stuff coming out. We'll see what happens with that. But good luck with your bets today and everything you're doing. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11.